Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Clue, the motherfucking Don. Usually with the stank breath in the morning medicine, but we here with the afternoon vibes. Right here, as you see, I have very old Jeremy Lacin. I'm definitely excited to have him on the show. A lot of the sneakerhead community definitely already knows who this dude is. I mean, he's, people say the hardest working man in show business, but I would definitely say this is one of the hardest working men in the shoe business as far as customizations, reconstructions, and all that jazz, man. But I kind of gave the intro for you, but you can go ahead and kind of introduce yourself and say a little bit what you do.
Yeah, man. I've like you said. The easiest way to say it is, I just work as hard as I can, man. So, um, yeah, I'm a sneaker artist. That's the smallest title that I can put to everything. I have a lot of other stuff going on too, but everything kind of centers around, the sneakerhead community and personally, being creative with the sneakerhead community.
For sure. Okay. And before we get started with anything, I'd like to ask people, what was the first song you listened to when you woke up this morning?
First song, Young Jeezy, All In.
Okay. All right. Is that kind of like a repetitive thing? Do you always kind of have like a motivational song? Is it usually one song?
No, it all depends on my vibe. Like if I'm in a bad mood, like a negative mood, I'll put something light on. But if I'm in like kind of dragging my ass, like man, I don't know if I want to get up right now. I'll put on some trap music and get to the hustle.
Right. Okay. And I mean, I can definitely see that being a thing because like one thing that I notice about you is that even though you work very, very hard, you are also very, very active on social media and you do post a lot of your process. You post a lot of things that's going on. So I guess, outside of, what you post, when you wake up in the morning to the time that you get back home, like what is a typical day for Jeremy Lace?
I just moved most of my studio back home now, which is something that's really good for my creativity. I had that large facility, 20,000 square feet with all those people, and it was kind of blocking me. I'm one of those artists, that no matter how far I get, I think I'm going to have my own space. You can definitely relate it to music, kind of how like DJ Khaled and like Rick Ross, just for two examples, have their own studios at home. Not more so just to not get out, but more so because I control this environment no matter what happens. Um, so, a day in life of me on a regular day, um, I spend my first like half hour in bed just checking on the local news and everything, like just see what's going on around me. And then, I try to tap in with everybody that I missed all week or all day the day before, just little stuff, nothing business, just personal, hey man, happy
Yeah.
birthday to your mama, your daughter, whatever. Um, and then I try to find a song that gets me going for the day. And I just kind of psych myself into it. I'm like, let's go, let's get it.
Okay.
So
You just pretty much get into the shop and you just pretty much cranking it out from there. Cause I know you post like say like you do usually anywhere between 12 to 16 hours a day.
yeah, what I normally do, I try to put in as much as I can quick. And I do this, I've done this for a long time in my other businesses too, is, I put in work before I give myself anything to eat or drink. So when I've accomplished something, then I can stop for 5 minutes, grab myself something to drink, maybe a quick snack, and then I want to accomplish something big, and then I treat myself to lunch maybe, um, and then basically I just set a goal for myself, and I say, look, I got the average person has 8 hours. My day is halfway through. I got 8 hours left. Um, I'll jump on the internet and basically and just try to see what's going on with everybody, see if I missed something, and but if not, straight ahead until about an hour before the kids go to bed. Then I spend an hour with them, and then I try to come back in, um, bang it out until I fall asleep, man.
Yeah. Man, that's a real like I don't know the best way to say it, like a real like there's a hungry type of mentality. Like you pretty
Yeah,
much have, you pushing yourself to those next levels and even sometimes seems making yourself uncomfortable to make sure that you meet those goals.
I've done that a lot. That first started when I was 19. I first before I got into my first business, I crashed one of my cars and it was my fault. And I was with my parents, and of course, they had vehicles and they work from home, and they offered me to use their vehicles, and I was like, no, this is something that I did, and I'm going to walk my ass to work, both jobs, and when I do well at work, I'm going to treat myself to a car. I've always been like that, and I do that with my eating habits too. It's probably unhealthy, but I don't reward myself unless I deserve it, and I do treat myself well because I work my ass off. But I'm not one of those people like I could just sit around and do nothing. I
Yeah.
can't do that.
That type of hustler mentality. I realize, I don't know if it's a regional thing, but I realize that so many people that come out or that are in that area, like anybody that I've honestly looked into that has been in that Miami-Dade County type greater area, y'all's mentality, like y'all's hustle mentality, is just on another level. And or people that are not from there move there because they have a similar type of hustle mentality. And I'm saying that assuming that you are actually from that area, born and raised.
Yeah, I'm born and raised right here. I still live in the same city I was born in.
Got you. Yeah, and that just that was just something that I noticed, and I've read the a memoir by Rick Ross, and it's called Hurricanes, and I was reading a lot of what he was saying, and no lie to you, as I was listening to it, I say I read it, but I was listening to it, I was driving, and there was a lot of things that he was saying that I was like, man, like I see that in Jeremy, and I said it earlier when I went live for a little bit that if I haven't given you your flowers already, like I personally looked up to you in a lot of things that you've, a lot of ways that you maneuvered the business. I've seen a couple different business ventures that you went on, and it all resulted in you being artist owned, and that's something that I've definitely seen you post. So can you like elaborate on what it means to you to be an artist? I mean, a self-made artist.
Um, Now I don't know if a lot of people caught it because I haven't talked too much about all these stories because I still have some contracts that are like they're on their way out, they're gone, but in some of these contracts you're not allowed to talk about what happened. So I'm waiting for a little bit of time before I put all that out. But I'm sure a lot of people can tell like I tried to take a route where, give smarter, more accomplished people control over what I do and maybe fine tune it for me and make it better. Um, and it just drives me crazy. It's one of those things like people see you as a cash cow, and it's honestly I relate a lot of my life to music, to the music industry, and it's the same way. I'm going to be signing artists by the end of the year. It's going to be the same thing like a record label. Um, it's the same thing, like you see some people that get stuck in a contract and they either get shelved or they have to take a route that they didn't want to,
Yeah.
but those people control their money. So I've been in a position, I got 5 children and I 3 child supports. So I got a lot of responsibilities. If the normal person probably would have kept these jobs or these contracts to guarantee this money, and last year and recently, I walked away from 6 figures just to see what would happen, and it was a scary thing, of course. But being artist owned is so important to me. Um, I'll do whatever it takes to maintain that. Um, the creativity, the respect level, and the fact that I can show other artists that you don't need these other companies to make you big. You don't need to sign a deal and sign your soul away to these people just to make 6 figures, 7 figures. I'm doing
Yeah.
it at home.
And what was the moment that you realized that that it was getting real? Like you realized that your brand had caught fire, that people were like really saying messing with. Because I'm gonna tell y'all straight up, y'all. When I first was introduced to Jeremy Lacin, it was back when he was under Lacin Kicks, and he was definitely still doing saying he was doing a lot, but I'm glad that I got in and got some customs then, because as you start to do more, you start to get bigger, you got to raise the ticket of what you're doing. And I honestly believe that the price of your work and the worth of your work is more than worth it. It's more than worth it. And I definitely it's kind of like one of those things, like you see it coming, like, yo, let me go ahead. It's kind of like a stock, right?
Yeah.
Let me get in on that stock now while it's what I'm saying, while it's building, because I know it's going to get higher. um what was that moment that you realized that, like, yo, this is getting serious? Because you started doing stuff for celebrities, like a few different celebrities, right?
Yeah. You know, last year, the internet made me feel like I already made it last year. When everybody started like, trying to blow my head up too much, I had to stop and was like, hang on, let me look at this. And, I realized that on accident in my bedroom last year, because a lot of people don't know, last year I was just trying to do what I could. And the beginning of the year, middle of the year, I blew up. But in the beginning of the year, I was working at the foot of my bed. So all the pictures and everything you see, the bed was right outside the frame. And I'm talking about my painting, all these things, sliding glass door open, and when everyone started calling me, like Sneaker God and started tagging me in these magazines and Sneaker Freaker first picked me up, I stopped and I spent like one night, I think it was till like 4 or 5 in the morning. It was something crazy. And I just started looking myself up and I started checking my accounts and stuff and like, let's see where we're at. Like, do we
Yeah,
need
yeah.
to take this from a hobby to a business? And I hit six figures by myself on accident. So I was like, this is time to take this very seriously, get some invoices and when these people reach out, I need to have a form for these people to fill out and things like that, not just clients, but companies. And this one guy came up to me and offered me almost $1 million to go into business with me. And that was when I was like, okay, I'm where I need to be. No thanks, but I appreciate that. That means you see something that I didn't see. So
Market value. Yeah.
um, I did take a deal like a month later um, with a different person for a lot less, but it didn't work out either. But when all these people just started reaching out, like, hey, they're not even sneakerheads. They're just a bunch of rich Palm Beach dudes that, they watch you and they don't like nothing. They don't post nothing, share. And when they started reaching out, I was like, okay, like I'm where I need to be. Let me just stay right here.
What do
So
you think their intentions were? Like, did they just see the potential in your business and they wanted to be the investor? Did they want to have like creative
money,
rights? Oh, that
just
was okay.
money. Yeah. Yeah. I've always, and a lot of people that ask about me, like, especially locally, everybody knows, like, I'll never be broke. It doesn't matter if sneakers go out of style, doesn't matter. I was a mechanic for 13 years. Cars go away, it doesn't matter. Like, everybody knows, like,
Yeah.
there's, I'm the only provider in my family. So I don't really have an option, but everybody knows, like, if you stick with me, it's going to work. There's no other way, or I'm going to die. So
Yeah.
it's gonna work,
And I'm
no
so,
matter
like,
what.
what got you into sneakers? Like, you said mechanic for 13 years. I saw you. You had posted that the other day, actually, and it's funny because it made sense. 'Cause I see a lot. You had a whole bunch of other posts talking about dealing with mechanics, and you were frustrated. And I was like, okay, he must know cars. But yeah, you definitely know cars.
The shoes were a lot of people are probably even going to be upset about this, but I was not a sneakerhead my whole life. We didn't have those luxuries, so it just wasn't an option in my opinion. My opinion was I was trying to become independent. There were things going on at home that I didn't want nothing to do with, and some other things I just had to get away from. So I was like, look, let me make sure I could feed myself um, decent,
Yeah,
and then I'll pick up some hobbies. And the first one was cars. Um, I went through like 36 cars. I think I'm on my 38th car now. So I'm like, you know what? Cars, I'm good. Like I did it all. And right when I started making okay money as a mechanic, I started, tattooing myself up and kind of building up my image. And it was hard to find something that everybody wasn't rocking.
yeah,
So I customized like two pairs of shoes for myself, and the internet was like, "Oh yeah, you should look up this guy and this guy." And I'm like, "No, I'm just showing off a little, trying to get some likes." And then a couple people hit me up like, "Could you do this?" And in 2018, I had still never drawn anything in my life. Like I in my mind, I was not an artist.
yeah.
Um, and so I hired a couple of local artists, college girls, to just do some doodles on shoes for me for customers, and I was going to be, the middleman.
Gotcha.
And then I thought this was just going to be, a fashion avenue for me, and they weren't able to keep up with the demand. They had other things going on in life, and I'm very passionate about everything that I do. I mean, whether it's something good or bad, I do it fully. So um, I basically fired them, and orders kept coming in on the DMs on Facebook. So I was like, you know what? I got to try.
Yeah.
And bro, my first shoe came out great. And I was just an artist the whole time. I had no idea. So it just became like something that was, as important as air to me. It was something that I was good at every time I did it. Of course I had problems and, stuff happens sometimes, but every time that I sat down and worked on a project, like I felt amazing. So um, you guys basically made me do this. I wasn't even trying. Everybody was just like, let me get this, let me get that. And I post a picture and they're like, I want this different color. And next thing I got up to 100 orders. And I was like, all right, I quit my job and got a bigger place and was like, half of this place is for work. And that was it, man. Here we are. We're just every time I move, every time I get a house, yeah, I base it on my business.
For sure.
I say, does it have enough square footage for me to have my own space? Now I've got like 600 square foot of space just for myself. That's secluded from the home.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's close enough so when my kids need me,
You're right there.
I'm right here.
Hey, for sure, man. That's dope. And I remember when I had hit you up about mine, like for one, like I was just like, I wanted something different. I wanted something that was gonna stand out, but I didn't want it to be too crazy. And I knew what my price point was at. And I was, as you see with my shirt, the customs that Jeremy Lacin I've been going with this theme for a little while. So
those blew up, man. Those went viral. Those went viral on Instagram.
I remember, yeah, you had sent them to, you were just like, yo, this is like the most likes I've had at this point. And that was dope. Just being like, yo, like I can say I was a part of it, even though I didn't do anything.
Yeah, no, that's me and you. That's what I love about what I do. That's both of us.
Hey, and you killed it, y'all. I mean, if you can't see, these are pretty much Afro Samurai or Samurai or Yusuka. These are customs. I mean, that he did the base was some Wolf Gray Jordan 1s. And then on top of that, months later, I saw that he was coming out with these custom boxes, and I was like, yo, man, like I gotta get one of those custom boxes for the customs you already did. So then my boy hooked me up with the custom acrylic box.
That was fun.
For my shoes. Like, I mean, literally, I'm gonna be honest with you. So like, I don't know if some of y'all sneakerheads are some of the secret sneaker blogs that I'm in. But when I moved out here to Cali, I had to get rid of a lot of my sneaker boxes. And because they just take up a lot of space. So I knew that there was about 7 pair of shoes that I'm like, I'm keeping the box for these. And this was one. I put them into my trunk and I drove them across the country because I was like, I don't care what happens to those other shits if they get lost in shipping or whatever, but these joints,
oh yeah, it's all that.
I gotta keep them, man. So yeah, I definitely I cherish those shoes. You know what I'm saying? Those are my only customs. Well, from outside, I've tried to do some shit with my own, but I'm just gonna leave that to you because I just fuck the shoes up.
Yeah, it's not as fun as it looks all the time.
It looked really fun until I got down to it, and I was like, "Damn! Now I got to finish this whole shoe, or it's gonna look stupid." And then there's another shoe that you're like, you got to do that over, man." I mean, have you ever felt like that? Like, because I mean, you've done some
every day. Now I'm on the final stages of the second one, but like this shoe that I dropped today, you'll notice there's only one picture. The other one doesn't have the sole on yet, and I'm like, I already got the feeling like I'm done. I feel like I'm done.
Yeah.
Same with this one. I finished it, but the other sole's not stitched on. So these have to go out tomorrow. I only got like an hour left, and I was like, man, I'm just so happy with the one shoe. So
can you explain those? Like, can you like tell them what the materials are? Like, I just want people to know. Like,
this one is from a Facebook group member. It's called Soul Shakers. That's his logo. Basically, he came up with the idea. He wanted to go with those. I think they're called the Pandas or something. Yeah, I think they're called the Pandas. I just got into SBs most recently, the Dunks, mostly because of comfort. Like, I didn't wear them for a while because I was like, well, I don't skate, and people were like, give them a shot, and yeah. So we were gonna do like full Python, and I was completely cool with that. But this is what I do with a lot of my clients now, and this is kind of why I charge a little more. Is I have a little bit of freedom. So with the budget he gave me, I could have easily done the Python. I make a little bit of money, but Usually when it's like a Facebook person, I try not to make a lot of money on it. I want to get the project done. Um, I upgraded him to Cayman Crocodile, and what else? Then I did the custom leather for him. He was like, "I'd love to have my logo on there," so we did that.
I was curious of what that was. I was like, yo, what brand is that? Because it honestly makes it
Yeah,
seem like that is like a Gucci or like a Louis. That's ill.
yeah, it was a cool idea. It was a cool idea. This one, it's just mostly like an exotic dog. So this the what's it called? The Nike Easy. This one was a big deal for me. I haven't even had time to really sit down and appreciate it as much, but this shoe, the factory one obviously was like my grail. And I'm not one of those people that like, everybody wants this, everybody wants that. I was just like, before I even knew what the shoe was, when I jumped in this industry, I was like, I need a pair of those. And one of my boys was like, those are like $10,000. I'm like, damn. Okay.
I'm
And
waiting
when
on
I
that.
started building shoes, I was like, yo, one day. And nobody was building them. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find the tools and the instructions. And you just got to jump out there and do it sometimes.
And you
So,
built that one from the ground up.
yeah. Yeah. This is from a Air Tech Challenge, some busted ass Nike
Yeah.
that thankfully they had the sole that's close to the 3. It's a mix between the 3 sole and the Nike Easy sole. So, because obviously you're not going to take one off the real one.
Exactly.
And I was lucky to find the patterns online. Somebody had them, but nobody has instructions because they haven't built them yet. But one of my very good clients, he likes to push the envelope. This guy orders like every week, and he always does this. He goes, "What do you not want to make?" And that's what I want.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
"I want it." He pushes me on purpose. Um, the next one we're joking about having, rocket packs on it. He's like, I want to do something that's just doesn't make any sense, something that makes you uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
strangely, I appreciate that.
I think it's stuff like that that takes artists to the next level. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's how you have some of your other sneaker artists like the Shoe Surgeon, how he made some dancing shoes on some Jordan 4s or 5s, I think they were for Nelly. It's like
Yeah,
something that somebody would be like, damn, like it's something out of the box. I remember you were doing the Back to the Future joints with the Air Max. That I mean, it's just the sneaker game. I remember I used to try to tell people at my old job, because I was the guy with the good sneakers. I was the guy with I
yeah,
always had a different pair of sneakers. And I would try to explain people, what I'm saying, the sneaker game and how just dynamic it is. They're just like, oh, I would have never thought, they're just like, oh, I
yeah.
remember, I had that pair. And I'm just like, yeah, if you still had that 85, that pair of 85 breads, you have some money right now, but you just didn't appreciate it like that back then.
Dude, the sneaker. This is a fun fact for a lot of these sneaker people. Like a lot of people, even still, like I see them. They don't message me about this anymore, but people message me for years about like, so you decorate shoes, like, but what do you do for a living? I'm like, I decorate expensive shoes. Like I don't know how you want me to say this, but they didn't take it very seriously. So
Yeah.
right now the sneaker industry is at $73 billion. So if that doesn't make people take it seriously, then don't like sneakers. I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's very serious. I
Yeah.
mean, I've had over 1.5 million in offers in a year, just to be part of what I'm doing for fun. Um, if that doesn't tell you that it's a serious business, then I don't have to prove that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What do you feel about you as an artist makes you or sets you different from any other artists out there, or do you feel like you're any different than any other artists out there?
I do feel like I'm different. There is a lot of me that's hasn't been unlocked yet, and I say that meaning for the internet. I've done things on my own that aren't out there yet. But one thing that sets me apart is I'm not interested in you know taking something that's already there and trying to make it a little better. I am one of the artists, and I don't say this much because the world's just not interested. They like hype. I'm designing my own shoes, and I have more in mind than just fancy fabrics and cool colors. I really do want to change the industry in ways where, um, last year I found out that there's people with these orthopedic shoes that they have to be, modified in size if one leg is longer than the other. And kids that walk funny, they'll make the soles different so they can feel comfortable and walk straight, stuff like that. I do a lot of that stuff on the side, and what I've found is there is a lot of things in the shoe industry that are kind of unnoticed. And some of these people with these prescription shoes, they only get one pair like every 4 or 5 years on their insurance and stuff like that. Um, so they send on to people like me to try to like paint them a different color or try to freshen them up, and
Yeah.
eventually you get to a point where you just can't do much to them. So um, something that does set me apart is, I'm definitely more in depth with the technical side of things. Outside of the Jordans and Nikes and all that, I'm more in tune with the density of leathers and rubbers and the bonding materials, as far as the structure and everything. I'm definitely more interested in it. I believe, it's not just about hype. Um, if I could get no attention and still have enough funds to operate the way I want to, I would
Yeah.
be content.
And I guess I never really thought about that, but yeah, I mean, if you have a shoe that's reconstructed, built from the ground up, or that's specially made, I mean, it makes sense that you pay attention to things like the sole and the materials and everything like that, so it's actually comfortable to be in. Because I can't imagine getting something and spending, high price on it, and every time you walk in it for a couple hours, you feel like your back's about to fall off or some shit like that. So I definitely that's that me not being a shoe customizer is not something that I would have naturally thought about. But yeah, I can definitely see the importance in that. And I definitely what I appreciate is that you kind of gave me a different way of looking at these fine items, like like the Gucci, the Louis Vuitton, the I think one of my favorite pair you did was these Versace silk ones on the these Jordan Zooms. And you kind of made me look at these things like, yeah, they are very, nice items. They're fine items, but at the same time, they can be repurposed pretty much into everyday fashion, into streetwear, what I'm saying, into something that unfortunately, in the regular, streetwear community, unless you have those, that the Gucci belts, unless you have the book bags and stuff like that, that's completely separate, because somebody who doesn't even wear sneakers is wearing that same stuff. But if you have
Right.
sneakers with that stuff on, that is literally the culture. Like that is like ended into the culture. And that's, like I said, that's something that I definitely appreciate, what I'm saying, with you and what you've done with it. And yeah, like I said, man, I just want to make sure you got your roses. And there was, a couple other things I wanted to ask actually. These different business ventures, man. I saw was it LCN CBD, or is it just Jeremy
Oh, Lacin CBD.
Lacin
Yeah,
CBD? Okay, okay.
yeah, that one. I honestly did that for a good reason, but social media is not really having it, as far as not the viewers, but the algorithm and the restrictions. I was really unaware, but I really, my life, how it's going right now is my sneakers take care of me and my whole family, and sometimes friends when they need it. So we're good. But
Yeah,
I always see things that just like when you walk by a dealership and you see something, you're like, man, I want that so bad. That feeling I get sometimes when I see situations that aren't that big that I believe I could help, as far as somebody in need. And I don't mean someone lost their job, like kids are having seizures and things like this, having trouble, getting medication, stuff like this. I feel the same way as when I see something really, really nice. I'm like, man, I want to help, but that will put me in a bad position because I'm right where I need to be. So I started other businesses. So whatever that stuff generates, I have it sitting around. So when I see an opportunity, it won't hurt me. And it's not just about me. I can't risk my family's well-being just because I have a good heart. So the CBD brand was for that. I was hoping to get to a certain amount of sales quickly to where we could dedicate a lot of our product to these places where kids are not able to get, the things that they need, and CBD is a good substitute for some things. But the social media algorithm, which I did not look into because I like to move quickly, you're not allowed to sell these things. I've already had 2 websites taken down and frozen. Um, they don't allow the sale on the internet. So, and I don't have the manpower to go out in these stores. Um, I got a deal going with one guy that he supplies my gummies at his store. It's going to be in Colorado, but I'm not going to blow that up like I anticipated.
Yeah,
But I'm just going to do direct shipping with this guy, keep some local in case somebody needs it. But I'm going to back off of that one, focus more on my fashion side. It seems that the things that I have going for me as far as my Facebook and Instagram algorithm are anything based with fashion. And anything with the words fashion in it take off really well. That enables me to be able to monetize on that and do what I need to do or what I want to do with those funds to better my businesses.
for sure. And that's wild. The algorithm part of it. I've been experiencing that myself as I've been trying to get better in it, as with my promotions and getting stuff out there. And my
Yeah,
my podcast is that's essentially that's what it thrives on, is promotion and marketing. And I've been watching a lot of different videos on, like, what hashtags to put, when's the good time to post, when's the bad time to post, when's the good time to actually go live, when are you actually going to catch the most viewers, stuff like that, or the most listens. And it's really wild, it's really wild. But I mean, it completely makes sense, saying they're paying attention to all the different analytics. And um hopefully one day it won't be so hard for, saying, for somebody like you or yourself again to try to launch that, that CBD line. Because when I saw it, and what I appreciated most about it was the fact that you weren't marketing it as like just another product out there. You were actually marketing it as, this is why CBD can help. Do you know what
yeah.
CBD is? Like, and that's one thing that you just don't see. You just have somebody trying to sell an item versus actually saying what this item is, what it can do to you, what are some of the facts, what are some of the debunked
I
things.
use my products. Yeah,
Exactly.
I suffer from like extreme anxiety, man. Um, Big reason why I have to have my own space. It's bad. Like I have to you know pump myself up to get on videos. I needed a half an hour before this one. That's just how I've been for a long time. So CBD helps me with that. And I could imagine, a child trying to get where they need to get, having this stress. I have something pulling me towards success, which is all of my children, all of my responsibilities. It doesn't matter if, I'm hurting, I gotta keep moving. But when you don't have those things that push you forward, I can only imagine how hard it is to get out of bed and be productive.
So,
So that's why I was pushing it so much. But we're gonna win the battle. It's just it's a war, not a battle. And now I know that. So
for sure. And you talked about that, those days where it's hard to get up and get out of bed. And I definitely have those days sometimes. Like anybody who's a creator, anybody who's a creator, anybody who is any type of professional, in any type of realm, I feel like we are can be susceptible to have those type of thoughts and those type of emotions. I know me personally, I suffer from anxiety and depression as well. And sometimes, I think I'm fine, and other times I'm not. Sometimes right before an event, saying, I get nervous and things like that. What I guess, my final question would be, what is some advice that you could give to anybody who is in those situations, to keep going? Because, like, one thing that I see about you, like, you keep going. You take your personal time out, which is, amazing, because you definitely always highlight your family. But, like, you are always pretty much going. So what's the advice that you would give them?
um, I really think that a lot of people lack what real passion really is. I believe this is a big problem, and I was going to speak on this soon anyway. Is a lot of people think if I'm not in love with something like I am with my mom and my family, my kids, my girlfriend, my shoes. If I don't feel like that, it's not for me. Well, that's not true. I was decorating shoes basically in the beginning, and I pushed myself a little bit harder just to see what would happen, and I fell in love. But I didn't pick up my first shoe and was like, oh, I can't wait to touch another shoe or another person's dirty ass shoes, because I was doing, used shoes in the beginning. I was restoring. It wasn't like I cannot wait till these dirty ass shoes get here. It wasn't like that. I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? I'm gonna turn up the notch. I'm gonna give this a week. I'm gonna grind as hard as I possibly can. I'm gonna skip breakfast and lunch. I'm gonna hustle. And after that week, I was like, this is it. That's the feeling. So what I do recommend to everybody, is it's hard to believe somebody else's story. A lot of things you have to do on your own. You have to experience on your own. But if you learn anything from somebody else, I think it would be that is, try for 1 week, just give it all you've got. And just remember, it's only for a week. You can stop and go back to your lazy ass lifestyle if you want to after that. Fine. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work. But 1 week, just grind like I do. And I think a lot of people that I see out here that are following me and ask me for advice a lot, if they would just do that, I mean, it won't help for a day, even for 3 or 4, maybe 5 days, you'll see a lot of positive results that will make you want to do it. So you won't want to do it beforehand. You really won't. But once you get closer to those results, you're going to realize like that was worth it. Like I could do that again. And I do it again every day. And it's proven. Like a lot of people tell me, that they're super surprised at where I got. And I tell them like not to be cocky, but I was going to get here no matter what. Like
Yeah.
it was either that or I was going to die of exhaustion. So I know the formula. People say, you make a lot of money. I'm like, I do a lot of work. Pretty simple, you know what I'm saying? So
Wasn't given to me. Yeah, for sure.
you kind of, but the motivation part is hard. So that's why I tell people, I think you should dedicate a certain amount of time and set a goal for yourself that you've never beat before. And just beating that goal, I believe, will unlock that extra potential that a lot of people are like, man, I just need this medicine or this, girl back in my life or whatever it is. Just grind through it for a week and just see what happens, and I don't mean, tough it out and lay in your bed, I mean, get up, make every minute count just for a week. And I believe you'll get so many results on so many different levels that alone will jumpstart, a life changing event.
For sure. Hey, y'all heard it here first. He pretty much said, follow through with it, stick with it, ride it out. Either you're gonna see results. Either it's gonna be results that you were supposed to be doing it, or results that the shit ain't for you. Either way, you're going to see results. I definitely I like that, and there was something else that you said that I definitely wanted to capitalize on, but it is losing me. But yeah, I just before I go too long trying to remember it, man. I just want to say I appreciate you coming on here again.
Thank
This
you,
has
man.
been a really dope interview. Being able to definitely get a better understanding of your processes, your mindset, how you go about things, and dang it, almost came back to me. It just keeps going out of my mind. But anyways, yeah. So I want to appreciate everybody for tapping into this interview. This was an influencer culture interview with my boy Jeremy Lacin. Please go ahead and plug in all your social media accounts so everybody can follow you.
All right, so I just merged everything together. My last business deal took my Instagram, my Lacin Kicks Instagram, and my Facebook page. So um, I'm back. I've got all the contracts, bought myself out. Back to independent. I'm a one-man show. So I do appreciate everyone's support. I am local, so support local artists, independent artists, and nobody paying these bills. So, I'm knocking it out. You guys see the results. Like, I'm grinding. Now the new name is back to Jeremy Lacin Official on Facebook and Instagram. I brought Lacin Kicks, the company, back. I was able to bring that back through the deal. So all my ride or dies from the beginning, you guys already know. Lacin Kicks. That's it.
Hey, I'm glad you back, man. I'm definitely glad you back because honestly, regardless of what can happen and all these different business deals and all shit like that. Like the streets, we know what's good. We know what's really, you really, I don't feel like can go too many places, and in the community because it's a large community, but it's actually not that large. I remember I posted some shoes of yours in the DFW sneakerhead group, and they were just like, "Oh shit, yeah, Jeremy, I've been seeing him posted in other groups." So like,
Oh yeah.
people definitely, you're definitely known, man. I mean, like I said, it's a large community, but we got to hold each other down. And I appreciate you. You've always, definitely tapped in on anything business wise with me. We've done business transactions back and forth, and you've honestly just been, saying a cool dude. This is our first time actually talking on this type of platform. Usually it's just, Facebook Messenger, but you're always responsive. You know, it's always been good vibe, man. So once again, thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank you.
Um, Oh, for sure, man. This is Cool the Motherfucking Dime for another episode of Black Wall Music Podcast. If you can stay on for a minute right after this, and I appreciate y'all tapping in for listening.